There's a lot of people that kind of get on black men and say, well, black men don't want to get married. There's a lot of reasons why black men don't want to get married, very legitimate reasons, actually. And the brothers was discussing, this issue because, black men or even black people in general are very low in percentage of getting married. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Get into why brothers don't get married, right? Because I'm hearing that from my sisters, and I found this stat that from the U.S. Census, it said that not 29% of African Americans are married, compared to 48% of all Americans. So I want to go to Rotimi and then swing over to S1 and just pose the question, why do you think that black men don't want to get married, man?
I think, we don't see in our society, we don't see a successful marriage. We don't see enough of them. So we attribute it to being a headache. We attribute it to divorce is eventually going to happen. We attribute it to being something that doesn't really last long. And so it takes kings to say, you know what, let's make love cool. Let's make a marriage cool. Let's put that in the forefront instead of the thotty life. Let's say, yo, this is my woman. This is my queen. We don't do that enough. So I think people are scared of it. I think commitment is a big thing. We don't know how to just commit to one person because fear, so I think fear runs a lot.
Well, there's a couple of reasons why definitely, let's say black men in particular, have an issue, with marriage. Well, number one, historically, the black family has been, definitely decimated in a lot of ways. And what Rotimi has said about you don't see a lot of great examples. If you think about it, you don't see those examples. At one point in time, I got to see it, at least in my generation, because you still had the marriages of our grandmothers and great grandmothers and fathers as examples. So I got to see it. But let's say millennials and Gen Z, they didn't get to see what I saw. So that's why I have more of a belief in marriage than maybe someone as a millennial or a Gen Z due to what they got to see. My generation went through the crack epidemic and all the parents started going to prison and all the different issues that just start happening within my generation as Gen X, right? I was born on the tail end of Gen X. Maybe I could have been a millennial by 1 or 2 years, but I was born on the tail end of it. And I got to see all these changes. I got to see the single parent household. I got to see all of that stuff that just came to the black community that wasn't originally there in the community, right? Then also the laws in this country. Now, this in relation to all men. In America, men are severely penalized at a divorce. No-fault divorce is the biggest contributor to why men don't want to get married. One of the biggest. You don't believe me? Jason, roll that second clip.
How much did my divorce cost me? Well, this is a fantastic question. There's direct and there's indirect costs. Direct costs, I lost $106,000 out of my 401k retirement plan I spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half the equity in the home, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, and savings that I also spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half of all the non-liquid assets like furniture, household goods, electronics, cars. Keep in mind, I paid for all of these. And this is in addition to financially supporting her and her/our daughter for 17 years, which is many hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm now broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative net worth for the first time since I was, 25. Indirect costs, my job, my sobriety, my self-worth, my masculinity, my hope for the future, my ability to trust women again, my belief in God, my pride, my motivation, my physical health. I don't know, let's just say everything.
Now, you see all what that man worked for and all what that man lost. I can relate to that. I had got divorced too. And I lost everything in that divorce. I lost my house. I lost my car. I lost everything. I had to start over from scratch. I'm talking about me. I had from a 3-bedroom home to going to a 1-bedroom apartment, sleeping on the floor. When I had a full house furnished that I worked hard for, I paid for. I did all the situation with the gardening, and I was taking care of the yard. I was having just so many projects I had, happy about my house, right? And because of that, I lost it all. Even when I told the judge, she can't afford this, they still awarded her that. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. That's what they do. And you don't have to do nothing wrong as a man. It's not like, okay, you went out there, you cheated on your wife. Okay, hey, buddy, you're getting what you get. No. Your wife can come up and just say she's not happy and go file for irreconcilable differences and take half your stuff. So when men see a video like this gentleman, right, and men talk to other men that deal with, now you say, okay, well, Phil, you married now? Yes. And I've been married 12 years. I learned all the lessons from the first one. And the biggest thing that I learned from the first one was don't ignore the red flags. Do not ignore the red flags. Don't. If you see the red flags, cut it off immediately. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, as men, we don't cut it off immediately. And that's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? But you look at modern times, okay, we talking about modern times. And my wife is from my generation. Now, if you're a man that's millennial, you're a man that's Gen Z, you got something on your hands. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a Western country or any Western countries. I get men writing from other countries that's considered Western countries, like your Canada, your European Union countries and all of that. And they say the same issue and problem. This is why some men have saying that, you know what, if I do decide to get married, I'm going to marry overseas. And the reason why they have said that is because, one, the traditional family is still king in a lot of countries outside the Western world. You understand what I'm saying? When you do have a divorce outside the Western world, everything you work for is not stripped away from you. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of men are saying that, and that's why men are doing that. I'm not saying you can't find a good woman in America. I'm not saying you can't find a woman that be the type of person saying, I don't believe in no divorce. I mean, if it's not no cheating or something bad like that, we're going to work this thing out. Not to say you can't. I'm not saying that there's not women in America that they don't believe in no divorce. You just stick with your family, right? But let's call it what it is. American culture, in particular, is extremely toxic against family. You want to go political for a minute. Look at the political party most Black Americans vote for. That political party is pushing everything except family. You understand what I'm saying? And how are we, as Black Americans, the music industry is part of it too, because the music industry don't promote it. Because think about it, the music industry choked out the R&B singers. You don't even hear them no more. You think R&B don't even matter. When I was coming up, we had R&B. We had all that, love songs, all that constantly, celebrating, relationships and stuff like that. Being in a marriage today isn't sexy to people. It isn't. It isn't a status symbol. Definitely, we're talking about Black America. It's not a status symbol to us no more. It used to be like, man, you married. Okay, I respect that. You married or whatever. Now, no, when you got people like Sexy Red up here saying F a wedding ring and other women agreeing, loving that, like, yeah, F a wedding ring. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, why would a man want to marry that or even think about that? So a lot of men is actually checked out. That's really what it is. A lot of men has checked out. They've said, you know what? I'm cool, man. I'm good. I'm chilling in my house. I'm gonna work on my job, my career. I'm gonna build myself up. I'm gonna have peace of mind. I'm just cool. If I go get me a wife, I go get one from overseas. If I meet one here, it'll be a miracle from God. But I'm cool. That's really where that comes from. A lot of men has checked out, and men are the gatekeepers of marriage, not women. So they keep this up, and they don't change these marriage laws. And to make it where it's not so detrimental to men, then you're going to end up having a zero marriage rate. Oh, yes, you are. Because it doesn't make economic sense for men to get married with the laws on the book.